I think that was the clickbait way of putting it out there. They're open. So Quinn Snyder has final roster say is the big thing we found out yesterday.
Let's go.
So Quinn Snyder is the mofo who decides who is going to stay and who is going, like, he holds the fate. And someone left a great comment saying this is honestly a great power play by the Hawks, because they're basically telling their young core either shape up or ship out, you know? And Quinn Snyder is going to be the guy who has final say, guy who has the decision over who's going to be on said roster. And with that being said, I personally think Trae Young not being traded. I've said this for the longest time. I personally think in the next year or so, we are going to see a guy like DeJounte Murray get signed and traded for like Jaylen Brown, where Jaylen Brown is going to get signed and traded to Atlanta, and then Atlanta signed and trades DeJounte Murray to Boston.
Dude, DeJounte on the Boston Celtics would be sick.
Because both of their contracts are expiring. I don't see them trading Trae Young, but what I think this is Clint Capella is gone. Clint Capella is not coming back. Onyeka Okongwu, we can all agree, ended the season off showing more offensive potential, showing that he's equally as good, or if not almost the same rebounder. And we can all agree Onyeka Okongwu, way better multi-positional hybrid defender who can step out onto the perimeter, unlike Clint Capella. DeAndre Hunter, it's a failure. They probably are going to look to move on from DeAndre Hunter and re-sign Saddiq Bey. Saddiq Bey looks like what we were hoping DeAndre Hunter was. DeAndre Hunter, we thought he was going to be this laterally quick guy who was going to have the agility to move between guards and forwards. He can't. And the shooting, he's like a fifth option that you probably want to pay at most like $15-12 million, but you're paying him like 20. So you're probably going to want to move on from him. And yeah, I think the only two people in this picture that will be here next year. Actually, I think there's a small chance John Collins stays, and that's because John Collins is a leader of men. The stuff that John Collins has gone through, and I think with Quinn Snyder might look at John Collins and it's like, hey, I can unlock you. But at the same time,
he can too. Yeah,
that's what I see. I think Quinn Snyder looks at John Collins. He's like, dude, I know what to do with you. Like I got a plan for you. But at the same time, I could see Quinn Snyder being like, hey, I just got a call from so-and-so, let's say like the Suns, and they're like, if we send John Collins and Clint Capella, they'll send us DeAndre Ayton and then send a few contracts to the Pistons, and we'll get Bojan Bogdanovic and DeAndre Ayton for John Collins and Clint Capella, something like that. That was just so I could see that if they get it, because we can all agree out of DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, John Collins has the most trade value.
Yeah.
But yeah, the green light, Trae Young could be traded. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I think the green light was to get everybody shaking in their boots, knowing that shape up or ship out, buy in or you're buying out. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this whole Atlanta Hawks situation?
Yeah, you kind of have to. After last year and then this year, they're just, honestly, no one's going to, people keep talking about Miami being a tough matchup for Boston. Atlanta is not an easy matchup for any team, but yeah, it's not, they made the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of years ago and they aren't doing that anymore. So you kind of got to figure something out. I don't think the answer is trading Trae Young. I love the idea of sign and trade, flipping DeJounte for Jaylen Brown. I think that would be a needle mover. Okongwu's nice. AJ Griffin, there's still a lot. I think the fact that you're a rookie and you shoot 39% from downtown, I think that's just so impressive no matter what your skill set. I know he's supposed to be shooting around there coming out of Duke, but that's no small feat for an entire season. You're a consistent three-point shooter. If he can add a couple more tricks to the bag, pair him with Saddiq Bey, you got a nice little complimentary duo there off the bench and the starters. But yeah, I think something needs to be done. The DeAndre Hunter ascension to a Mikal Bridges, with Brooklyn didn't happen. So he's a valuable trade asset to have, even if it's not as high as some of us were thinking it would be. But they got to do something. And I think Quinn Snyder is perfect. You know, Hawks fans kind of know where they stand right now. It's like, all right, let's see what we have. Let's continue to evaluate it. Let's see if we can get into the playoffs, out of the play-in, go from there. But changes are coming. Changes came already with the firing of Nate and the addition of Quinn Snyder. And I think Quinn's the right guy for the job. I know we were very big on the pickup a couple of months ago. So it's not panic time in Atlanta, man. You still got a stud of a player in Trae Young, but you got to make some moves here.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize Quinn Snyder comes from the San Antonio Spurs lineage, and in the setup they have here in Atlanta is very reminiscent to San Antonio, where San Antonio, technically their president of basketball operation is R.C. Buford, but we all know the guy who has final say and roster control is Greg Popovich. And that's what's going on here. I think Quinn Snyder's basically, when he negotiated this deal, he saw how his mentor did it, Greg Pop, and he told Landry Fields and Kyle Korver, I'm interested in coming to Atlanta, but I want final say. You guys will be my RC Buford. It'll be a collaborative effort. You know, we'll all be in the room together, pitching these trades, talking it out, but you guys have to present it to me, or I got to give the thumbs up, thumbs down on the deal, and that's what's going to be, because this is my motherfucking team. Yeah. You got, you know, and I'm a big proponent on, you know, saying this message, because I think a lot of people disregard this fact, and it is that the NBA is a league as a whole. What up, Rocket News? What up, Chris Boy? So the NBA is a league where there's two roles. A coach coaches the players. Okay, most coaches don't have roster control. So they don't have a decision on who the hell they're coaching. So for me, I think it is a very big thing that people overlook is they get mad at the coaches and stuff. This is why I defend Nick Nurse. Masai Ujiri has screwed over Nick Nurse the last 2-3 seasons in terms of not giving him proper roster depth. This is a team that's only had 7, 8, 9 guys. I mean, not even 8 or 9 guys, 7 guys, really, 8 guys. And they're usually all bigs that are bench off. You know, they've never, and I blame Masai Ujiri for not giving him the players to actually have a rotation. And I think that's something people forget is like they get pissed off the coaches for these rotations. I'm like, they don't have anyone else to play. Like their general manager the general manager is in charge of roster construction. Coaches are the puppeteers. They're the ones controlling the roster.
Yeah. So I feel the same with the Rockets. Like I know, you know, Steven Silas, and that's where it gets a little interesting because it's like, okay, well, the rotations aren't good. You know, you look at a guy like Steven Silas where it's like, what's this rotation here? Why is Daishan Nick still our backup point guard 70 games into the season? But then from a non-biased standpoint, I look at the Rockets roster and I'm like, well, yeah, we're a 22-win team no matter who's being thrown out there. So I think for a guy like Quinn Snyder is the perfect candidate where I want, like just like Coach Pop, like, yeah, this is a smart dude, knows what he's doing, he's proven, and let's give him some control and let's get him the guys that he wants. So,
yeah, you gotta restart this roster in the sense that obviously keep Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Sadiq Bey, AJ Griffin. You know, I'm trying to think. I really do believe in Onyeka Okongwu. I really think Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins are the 3 names to watch this offseason. You know, Bogdanovich is perfect for the Quinn Snyder system. Like he's going to play that the Bogdanovich role. Like he fits this perfect. I can understand if they do trade Bogdan because I personally think he has bad knees. And I mean, I feel like his role can be very easily replaced.
Oh, wow. It's something of interest that he's only played, like this year played 54 because he missed the start. 63 2 years ago. 44, that season was condensed. Still not an ideal. Like you want your players playing at least 60.
And they just gave it. My thought was when they gave him the extension was so they could trade him.
Yeah, a team will definitely would love to take Bogdan off their hands.
I love Bogdan.
Talks about him getting shipped out at the deadline.
He's just got he's 28 or 29. Like he's still like in the prime. The knee. And the thing is with this team is defense. Like we know they can score, even though I made a video the other day basically getting mad that like this team's offense sucked this year, which is the one thing that shouldn't suck.
Mhm.
And I think just figuring out, I mean, first off, people don't understand it takes one season for Quinn Snyder's offense to be implemented. It's like one of the most complex offenses, and they had limited practicing time in like the 20 or so games that they had Quinn Snyder as their coach. So that's something that's going to be applied. So I think the DeJounte Murray, Trae Young duo will look different. But I think the three guys that will be traded, maybe four, and everyone else I think stays, is Clint Capella will be replaced by Onyeka Okongwu. So they'll look to move from Clint Capella. It's just time. Okay. Onyeka Okongwu can defend arguably some guards, some wings, and he can step out against power forwards and he can guard centers. Like Onyeka Okongwu has the potential to be like Bam Adebayo light, and then you have DeAndre Hunter, who's underachieved, and he's just not worth the contract. So you'll look to move him. And then we talked about this. We both believe that Quinn Snyder could tap into John Collins, and like maybe Quinn Snyder looks at John Collins and thinks that. But at the same time, we probably think that there's teams out there thinking that about John Collins. So I think the three names to look on this team that definitely will be moved: Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins. Maybe Bogdanovich as well. I think everyone else should be safe. Saddiq Bey will be. That's why I also think DeAndre Hunter will be traded, is so they can re-sign Saddiq Bey and not have two similar contracts on the books. Because I think the Saddiq Bey is going to be a similar contract to DeAndre Hunter, right?
Probably not.
Less?
Yeah. What do you average? 11?
Yeah. What Saddiq Bey got 4-year 80 or 4-year 100?
Saddiq or DeAndre?
DeAndre, my apology. 4-year 80, right?
Either or, yeah. I mean, I
didn't know he got more than Keldon Johnson. Keldon got 4-year 80. I think it was 4-year 100.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's not Keldon Johnson. So
yeah,
and he's not even DeAndre Hunter. So I love Saddiq Bey, but I mean, I think surprised if he's.
I think Saddiq Bey
his impact's better than the statistics document.
We can both agree. Quinn Snyder, Saddiq Bey was better than DeAndre Hunter, Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, I mean,
impact on the court.
Yeah,
their stats won't say it, but the impact on the court, the Hawks looked better when Saddiq Bey was on the floor instead of Hunter.
Yeah, they gotta figure out the defense, man. I can't even remember the last time they had a top, even average statistical defense. It might have been.
I think that Nate
McMillan were in town.
I think Nate McMillan, when they went on that run to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think when Nate McMillan took over for Lloyd Pierce, I think they were top 15 in defense while being the number one offense, which ironically, the last time they were top 15 in defense, they went on an Eastern Conference Final run.
Yeah, but for a whole season, they haven't.
I know, but what I'm saying is that season when they fired Lloyd Pierce and Nate McMillan took over, Nate McMillan in his first like half season in that Eastern Conference Finals run, I'm pretty sure they were like either a top 10 or a top 15 defense while being the number one offense, and they haven't done that since. And the one time they did do that, they go on an Eastern Conference Finals run.
Yeah.
So I just think it just shows, damn, if this team has defense, it seems like they're pretty good. So let's move over here and let's talk about a different team that is going through something else. I don't believe in firing Jason Kidd or Nico Harrison after their second season. And wait 1 second, we got some comments that I just want to address. We got